Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Jake Reed's number...
Billy Mays' ghost.
Sure, fuck it.
Because, I don't know, he needs to come back or something. He
but
died.
Wait, there's more! There's not, he's dead.
There's comments, but that's unrelated from the Billy Mays joke.
There's no way there wasn't cocaine involved. Anyway, so today, yes, Jake's here to respond to more of your comments. Not a lot to say about it. Here we go. Bruce Lawson says on one of the previous Jake Reads videos, "Hey Hugo and Jake, I used to be an atheist. However, I have recently converted to Norse paganism. The technical name is a Satru. So my question is, what do you think of pagan religions, and what religion would you follow if you were forced to pick one?"
First of all, I think it's dumb. A Satru in general. I knew a kid, few months ago was talking about it with me on Twitter. Maybe he died in glorious battle and is now in Asgard? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Asgard.
Sure.
Because it's Norse paganism. Yeah, it's super dumb. All it is it's based on some poems.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's no real reason to have converted.
Is it a thing that people actually believe?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it like
There's a small group of people that actually still believe in Norse paganism.
Well, that's silly.
Especially in Canada, which is odd.
Yeah.
Which is where that kid was from.
That's pretty silly. It feels like I could be wrong, but this person, it seems like they're doing it almost ironically. Like,
maybe
this is cool. So
is it because the black guy
is...
has like a beret on?
No, it's just because I don't think that someone who used to be an atheist would be like, you know what religion really speaks to me though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking paganism.
There's really no reason for it other than I enjoy Norse paganism,
and which is fine if it's
converting to it.
If you don't, again, I don't really know, I'm not talking to you personally, but if you don't really believe it, you're not really that. You're just interested in Norse mythology, which is fine. It's very interesting. All mythology is interesting. I'm interested in Christian mythology, for instance. That's why we do this show.
Yeah.
But if you genuinely believe it, you have to know, being a previous atheist, that there's no evidence that pantheon
Unless
exists.
you were just, like, an atheist because you are, like, edgy.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
Or an atheist via just lack of religion, but you haven't really thought about it? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you were more a nun. Anyways, like N-O-N-E, not like Catholics. As far as the religion I would want to follow if I was forced to pick it, Christianity, probably.
Really? Why?
Well, I assume I would also believe it.
Okay.
Or is it just that I'm still a non-believer? Because, I mean, it's easy being a Christian in the United States is my reasoning here.
But what's the standard? Do you have to actually follow the rules, or do you just
If I don't have to believe it, I'd rather it would be something like, I don't know, something interesting. Hinduism would be interesting.
I guess.
But I don't want to be in India for it, because I don't want to deal with the caste system directly. Fair, yeah. But I think being forced to observe the customs of Hinduism would be interesting for a while.
I'd probably pick Buddhism, but of the strain that,
the ninjas
Western, I was gonna say like West Coast hipsters follow when it's not real Buddhism.
So
it's just
pretty much just yoga.
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty much just yoga and sushi.
Or
and
that
say, I'm a Buddhist. I'm spiritual.
That Big Lebowski religion, dudism. I'll do dudism. That seems pretty mellow. This is from our Ray Comfort movie review. Drips of Blood.
Drips of Blood 787. Look at you. Is that your like Xbox name too?
Seems like it would be, wouldn't it?
Wow.
Speaking of California, you guys should come here so I can shake your hand and thank you for all your wonderful work you do. I don't know if you've got any events out here in the future that you'll be attending, but that would be very cool.
We probably will in California at some point. I don't know if it'll be for TPR, but maybe for Unpop we'll come do one of the cons or something, hopefully Comic-Con at some point. But there are a lot of things that happen out on the West Coast that I'm sure that we will be involved in at some point. We don't this year, and we don't have anything scheduled yet for next year. However, we do have something for the Free Thought Conference in East Texas, which is in Nacogdoches, which will be, we'll actually be doing a live Chick Tract there.
Yeah.
And so if anyone is in the area, I have information down in the description. You can get tickets. You can come see us and hang out with us, and we'll have Chick Tracts there that we'll sign and give out to people if they want them. No charge. We're not celebrities.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be hanging out with like Matt Dillahunty, JT Eberhard of Pathos, etc. So it should be a really good time.
Sure.
But that's the only thing we have this year scheduled as of now. We'd be more than happy to come out and do some events. We've done a few things in local colleges around the state in Michigan here, and that was always a really good time. The SSA groups that did it for us were really, really awesome. And we did SSA East like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
2
we just
years
attended
ago.
though. We didn't. We only had like 3,000 subscribers at the time.
I know,
so
it was super crazy. We were nervous to talk to Matt Dillahunty.
I know. Whatever. Now it's like, hey, Matt. We don't talk to him that often, but at this point, I'd be like, oh, there's a dude, and he also does a similar thing to what we do. He's more successful, obviously, and better at it, but there he is.
So yeah, that's the answer.
This is again from another Jake Reads video, Dub. Good name. Says, how do you feel about people being condescending? Do you think it's right to be condescending in some instances? Goes on to talk about young people, especially being condescending in these sort of conversations. Then says, are most of the Christians you argue with condescending towards you, or are they more respectful and see you as being on equal footing? Also, how do you treat them? And then finally they end by saying, when you see atheists being condescending towards Christians, how do you feel in this situation? And have you ever intervened to tell the atheist the way they're handling the argument is wrong? What a great fucking question.
I know, and I that's why I picked it, is because we are very we get pissed off by this sort of thing a lot. Condescension on either side of an argument.
Sure.
But mostly on the atheist side of the argument.
Because that's the side we're on, and we don't want it to look bad.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I have called people out point blank for being a condescending cunt.
I have as well.
To Christians or other atheists or just theists in general, maybe Muslims, or doesn't matter. Anyone that an atheist is having a debate with, if they're being condescending, I have a big fucking issue with that. Because it does two things. It makes everyone think atheists are still assholes, because a lot of them are on the internet. Most of them aren't. Most of us are not. Every atheist I met in person seems like a reasonable person. The internet, though, makes you a keyboard warrior, and it makes you be mean to people for no reason. You shouldn't do that. The second reason is it makes us look inferior. And by that I mean when someone is beating you at something,
sure,
you get defensive.
Yeah.
And you start maybe talking shit, or and it could be like sports, or it could be a board game, or it could be an argument.
Yeah.
People start to feel back up against the wall and lash out. And even if you're not losing, it still comes across as your argument isn't good enough to stand on its own, so you have to cop a fucking attitude toward the person in order to get an internet win,
sure,
or something. And that drives me up the wall. It's the worst, and we've probably lost subscribers over us calling people out, which I don't care about because I don't want them here.
Sure.
So
I would say that if you are an atheist and you're on the internet and you see, or even in real life, whatever, if you see an atheist being just a huge cunt and condescending to another person in a discussion, call them out. Be like, hey, you're going about this completely wrong. You're being an asshole, and then you can talk to the person if you feel like it and be like, hey, just so you know, not everyone who isn't religious is like this. You know, I am totally open to having a reasonable conversation with you about this if you want. You know, people like that make us look bad, and I'm sure you know people on your side who are kind of jerks too. So please don't, think that we're all like that. Because honestly, there's a reason that there's a stereotype for asshole atheists. It's because for some reason, I think it's because atheists tend to be younger, and they don't have the patience, especially on the internet, to have a conversation without making fun of someone, without getting mad. And I was there. Just a couple years ago.
There, I think.
But I think as you get older and you deal with it more, you just realize that's not really productive. Let's actually have a conversation. You're not going to necessarily turn a lot of people or get them to really consider their religious beliefs, even with a normal, reasonable conversation. But you're not going to turn anyone or get anyone thinking if you're just an asshole, and that's a fact. So if you just want to be an asshole on the internet, feel free to do whatever you want. But if you want to actually be productive and try and have conversations with people and learn why people believe the way they do and want people to understand why you don't believe things, then be a person and have a conversation. Don't be a condescending cunt.
There's a huge difference between critiquing and ridiculing, and people need to find the line there and stop. Just stop doing it. As far as when is it appropriate to be condescending, when you're with your friends and you have rapport.
Sure.
That's the answer.
Again, from our Audacity review, Frank Patek. Good name, Patek. I thought it was going to be like Frank Patrick. Nope, hits you with the Patek. That doesn't even sound right, but it is. There are so many errors in both of your reasoning, I don't know where to start. The largest one is we don't get to define what sin is. So Jesus turning over the temple tables, by the way, breaking the law because the tables were in the temple's area, akin to selling something you disagree with in your backyard without your permission. is a sin. God defines sin. They had no business selling anything there, so there's that. Not a theologian, just know that. That's a good sentence. Just know that.
Yeah.
So if I could get that, you could have through research. I do like your attitude, however. You both have great information for those of us that are Christian on how you think about this kind of stuff. Nice ending line. This guy is very parentheses happy. Learn to use commas, maybe a semicolon every once in a while to divide your thoughts.
His mind is so active.
I know. You have thoughts within thoughts.
So let's talk about the sin thing. Yes, God defines sin. All that does is absolve God from any sort of culpability via anything he does, and obviously, through extension, that means Jesus as well, since I assume you think they're the same person.
Yes, so that essentially means that there's standard
nothing
above. So if God is the standard, then the things we do aren't right because they're good because God says they're right, which means if tomorrow he said, hey, you know what's awesome? Rape. Then everyone would be like, oh, okay, let's go rape people, and we'd rape them, and that would be moral. I disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with that as well. And if God defines sin, then he also defines morality in general, which is what you're touching on there. So is it okay for me to flip the fucking tables over and stuff, or just because it was Jesus that did that? I think there's a very important distinction there that you're not drawing a line on. As far as our attitude, I agree. We're goddamn fantastic. And this kind of goes back to the last comment a little bit. We really, really enjoy having our Christian viewers around.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that they get at least one form of reasonable and open-minded atheist content in their life. and we've actually just passively converted people or helped their own conversion. I don't think we actively converted, but, they were already on their way. Just because, they had, if they feel chummy here, it's like nice. It's a good place to be. It's not so antagonistic.
I would say one more thing about the morality thing, just because this always bugs me. I've heard this argument before. Essentially, if you're saying that morality is always whatever God does, then morality isn't something you participate in. It is something you are forced into. You know what I mean? And I think morality as a society and as an individual is something you have to actively participate in. You have to think about what you're doing. It's not just following a rule book. It's considering...
It's terribly subjective.
Yeah, it's considering the effect your acts have on other people. And if you're just deferring to a book, which you think is wholly inspired or whatever, then you're not actually doing any thinking. And that's bad for morality, because then you get people doing things
like
that they think are black and white. Yeah, or saying that, for instance, someone who's raped can't have an abortion. You're thinking very black and white and not actually participating in the morality discussion. You're just saying that the conversation is over, here's the answer.
Right.
And that hurts people overall. As Jeff Goldblum would say, so that there it is.
That was a solid Goldblum.
This is from the Chick Tract we did with Mr. Repsion. Megan Anastasia says, don't you think, considering that Mr. Repsion has opened up about his past involving sexual abuse and the trauma that it has caused him, that it was a little inappropriate to select a tract about a little girl who gets kidnapped by a pedophile? I think you owe him an apology, guys.
I disagree that we owe him an apology, because he was an active participant in that tract. It's like, it's not like we went out of our way to be like, you were sexually abused and this happened. We went through a list of them that had been brought up by fans, and we're like, hey, this is a good one. You want to read it through and see if you like it? And he said yes.
Sure.
So that's how the Chick Tract process goes. It's not like he gets on a call with us and we spring it on him and he had to sweat through it.
No.
And he didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. He was pretty cool about the whole thing.
In fairness, I didn't know that about him before.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I mean,
if we
maybe we would have been a little more sensitive to it,
I know.
But I don't think...
If he did have a problem with it, then I do apologize, but I don't think he did. So
he didn't say anything about it, and I don't think it bothered him whatsoever. No. He seemed extremely
he was there,
comfortable.
He was making jokes,
and we bullshitted for about 15 minutes on either end of that recording.
We talked about it, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
But just in the future, stuff like that is annoying. I don't know. Projecting morality on people is weird.
Yeah,
like
we talked to the person. You didn't. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's just weird to me that you're like trying to.
I know
co-pilot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not mad. It's just.
I would imagine if he genuinely had a problem, he'd be like, "Hey guys,
don't want to do this one, or I'm a little uncomfortable."
Yeah,
because he wasn't forced into it. Yeah. Anyways.
This is again from Jake Reeds. Wow, you're really dipping into the Jake Reeds comments.
You know, the thing about YouTube comments is when you look at them, there's this like a number. There's like 500 of recent comments, right? But all the Ray Comfort stuff has been happening, so I'm only getting questions for Ray Comfort, and then at the end of that, all it is your highest rated comments, and all of them are ours in threads from us.
Makes sense.
So I had to dip. I had to take some dips.
So Merrick 1057 says, "Hey Jake, how do you guys do your movie review episodes? Do you watch and then just say what you can from memory? Do you take notes on it and then make the episodes based on those later?"
A little bit of both, actually. The first time we did a movie review, I think we tried to play it and do like sort of a MS
T3K.
Yeah.
I don't like doing that.
Yeah, which I didn't really like either. We sit there together and we watch them, and then we take notes. Mostly on your laptop, usually.
Mostly they're about just what's happening in the movie plot-wise, so we get everything in order. Yeah. Occasionally we'll write a joke if we think, oh, we really got to get this in there, but not usually.
Well, usually what we do is we'll say the joke out loud and then be like, oh, that's a good joke. We should keep that joke, because we bullshit while we watch the movies. Yeah. So, as far as the memory thing, we don't really play the movies very often when we're talking about them, so a lot of it is from memory, but usually we've just watched them, which is the best way to do it. I feel like our best work is right after we watch it, although I think the Audacity one was the day after. Yeah.
As with everything on the channel, we don't write things. It's improv. We just... I think improv is the wrong word. It is improvised. But improv sounds weird because we're not like, oh, here's a situation, let's do a thing. But like we're just talking.
It's all ad-libbed.
Yeah, it's ad-libbed. That's
like,
the word.
We don't... Like, our framework for any video that we've ever done has been whatever we're reading. Yeah. So, like, the chick tracks, we don't sit there and... Like, we didn't sit with Armored Skeptic for an hour and go, okay, here's where we introduce Harold Penisman.
No,
it just happens. All of it's organic, and I feel like that's just... Hugo and I just have that sort of thing that happens. Yeah. Like, just throughout the day, we have bits that we do on accident.
The last chick tract we introduced Cool McTits, which is the better alternative to Jesus. He's the savior who died so we could all get laid, and I'm sure he will be returning, but that's neither here nor there.
So yeah, it takes about however long the film is, and then we usually record for about an hour, and we pare that down. Yeah. Because we have some dead time. Sure. When we record. Other than that, it's pretty much exactly what you wrote. So I thought it was interesting. I don't know how to end this question. Next question.
Oh, this one. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so this one
Are you ready?
This one is more...
I'm already worked up.
I see it.
I gotta... Okay. You can't talk. Nope, interrupting you. Nope.
This is more for you anyways. Yep, this is more for you anyways, because you were going to do this for your ass Hugo. But
that's like 2 weeks away. I can't wait.
We scheduled it too late, and you got to get it off your chest. And I'm pretty much gonna let you have the floor for the first half of this.
Here we go. Let me read it. Okay, this is from our Audacity review, and if you didn't watch the Audacity review, which you should,
because we got a lot of Ray Comfort stuff happening. If you're not aware, Ray Comfort saw it or Living Waters did, and they took it down for a little bit. We had a big fight with Ray Comfort and won.
We won. But anyway, the point is, in that video, we talked about tipping and the importance of tipping and how dickish it is not to tip your waiters in the United States because culturally it's important. Here's this person's response. And this person's name is Pablo Picasso.
I can't believe it's the actual Pablo Picasso, but if it is, fuck you, Pablo. I'm glad you're dead.
About your tip rant, how dare you become indignant towards someone who goes to a restaurant to pay for a meal but doesn't tip? Since when did it become
my doesn't tip in quotes?
Because we said doesn't tip, and if we say something, it has to be in quotes or something. Okay. I don't know. Since when did it become my responsibility to supplement an underpaid employee's wages? The business owner is the one you should be cursing for not paying servers what they are worth. It is a hard-ass job. You're correct on that. Only in the Western countries are tips a thing. In Europe, servers are highly paid by their employers. Such should be the case here in America. I don't know if you know this, but we're in America, though, not Europe, but I'll get to that. Let me ask you, if your job was hard, whatever it was, and your boss underpaid you, would you be mad at the customer who patronized the business that keeps you employed for not supplementing your wages? Or would you be more rightly mad at your cheap-ass boss?
I like how he put cheap ass boss.
Yeah, not cheap ass.
It's not hyphenated, so it's a cheap ass boss.
Yeah. If servers don't like being underpaid, then they should move careers to a job where the business owners don't take advantage of their employees because of cultural expectations.
Wow, this is loaded, and I have a lot to say as well.
Well, I gotta get some stuff up first. Pablo Picasso, here's what I have to say to you. I don't disagree with that we should just pay better wages and do away with tipping, but here's the thing, this has been the standard for so long, it's not something that's going to change anytime soon. So, when you take a stance that you're not going to tip people, you're not changing anything culturally as an individual. You're just not. You're not hurting the boss, because the boss doesn't give a fuck. You're hurting the waiter or waitress. And the thing is, I think on some level you knew that, and that's why you made this and started it with, about your tip rant, how dare you? See, you're becoming indignant about what I said. I feel like it's a defense mechanism, because on some level you're aware that what you're doing is making you the asshole. And that's fine. You should be aware that you're being an asshole, because you're being an asshole. Tips, whether you like them or not, are an agreed-upon part of the social contract in the United States. It sucks, I also disagree with it, but it is what it is. So when you're deciding not to participate in the social contract, you're also giving waiters free rein to not treat you very well, because the reason a tip is because it's trying to take something subjective, like service, and put a monetary value to it. That's why they allow you to fill in the tip personally, because it's subjective. You've decided that the service is worth nothing, so since it's worth nothing anyway, why should anyone treat you well as a server? Now I agree, ideal world, we wouldn't do this. Everyone would just get paid fairly and everyone would just do their job. But that's not the world we live in, Pablo. Pablo, we will live in a world where people who are shitty like you decide to use rationalizations to act like assholes to people and not give them the money that they need to live. And as far as the last line, why don't they just get better careers? How big of a piece of shit are you that you don't understand how the job market works and how education levels work and how skills work, and that not everyone can just decide, I'm gonna get a job today, I'm gonna put on my job hat and get a fucking job, Pablo. What the fuck are you doing with your life, Pablo? I hate you. And that's all I have to say about that.
I've worked in the service industry before and have been in situations where I got tipped regularly, and yeah, you should tip people.
Yeah.
And also you should treat your servers well, because they handle the food that's going inside your body, and if you're an asshole, bad things happen to the food that's going inside your body. Probably.
That was good. I'm glad we're partners.
Now people think we're gay.
So now we have a couple in a row that are all suggestions for what we should do when we hit 100,000 subscribers. At this point, when this video comes out, we might
be real goddamn close.
We might have hit it.
Broken it.
Yeah. Who knows? But anyway, first one from Lurdanjo.
Lurdanjo? That's almost like an instrument.
Yeah. For 100,000, I'd love to see you guys video record yourself having a fun day on the town or something. It would be a treat to finally see what you guys look like doing the things you do, and also get a good idea of your hobbies and whatnot.
Okay, this is actually an alright idea if we had a pretty high quality camera, and we may at some point. But, why don't you know what we look like yet? We've been on so many things. Why are you not paying attention, Lurdanjo?
And soon we should be putting up that first Patreon-only hangout,
Yeah,
just
so, I mean, like,
so you guys
you'll
so you'll all see what we look like, I guess, if you want to.
It's weird that you guys have avoided this so far,
Yeah.
though. I mean, we've been all over the place. Anywho, next one.
Illiterate atheist. Not true, because you typed this. Clearly you two did not think this out at all. At 100,000, you should have a live feed to your next dental cleaning.
That's on the ballot, apparently.
I would have said docket.
Docket? No, that means we're doing it for sure. Ballot means there's a vote.
Ryan Johnson, sex each other on stream.
I assume this was for 100,000, but maybe it was just a regular request.
Either way,
it was unrelated.
No.
No.
I'm not dipping into that pond anytime soon.
Not again. Not after the accident. So, I don't know what we are going to do for 100,000. There's a lot of ideas. I don't know what sounds fun though. Like, I have no real good ideas whatsoever. It's kind of sad.
I know.
Because it's been approaching quickly for the last like month, and we've had plenty of time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Please give you a real something that you want, like a real submission to this, because obviously you don't want to see our dental cleanings. And I'm not going to the dentist anytime soon.
No, I don't even have dental on my new healthcare.
I don't have...
Nothing better happened to my face.
Oh, that's why we don't do the sex on stream anymore. So yeah, something that you want to see would be great. We do stuff on Unpop that some people have requested already, so, like, games and shit.
I don't know.
So if you want that, go to Unpop. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So please, your real, deeply felt submissions towards what should Jake and Hugo do for their 100,000th.
Or more gay jokes, because I'm sure that's going to happen anyway. So,
yeah.
Have at it, YouTube. Stay classy as always. So I think that's it.
That is it.
You can always check us out on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
You can check Hugo out at Hugo Reloaded.
You can check us out, as we said, at Unpopular Culture. That's our other channel. It's pretty sweet. You can always check us out on Patreon if you want to throw us $1 or something every month, whatever.
Oh, we're getting a lot closer to the Quran Reloaded. So
I know we keep saying that. You guys probably think we're huge dicks.
Maybe, I don't know. We actually, a lot of pre-production goes into these things to make sure that we put out something that isn't garbage. But no, we're getting very, very close.
We have, I think, what might be like our, if it's not our top already, it's in the top 2, and we're just asking for a little bit of a shortening because it's a little long right now.
Need some refinement, but we have the basics. I think we're real close. We'll probably end up putting something out October, November.
Sure.
One of those, we'll end up getting some Quran shit going.
Yeah.
And that'll just be on this channel. It'll be, so you guys don't have to subscribe somewhere else. You can also subscribe. And, I don't know. Those are our buttons. It's all the buttons.
So thanks, everyone. I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this has been Jake Reads number...
Billy Mays' Ghost.
But wait, there's more! No, there's not.
No, it's over.